Hi Aries, how are you? I hope you are doing well. I'm so excited for this upcoming week and I'm so excited to be doing these videos again with you. Welcome to my channel if you're new and welcome back if you are returning. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you so much for your love and everything. I'm so excited for this week, so yay. We have the Cancer new moon, I think on Tuesday coming up this week, so there's a lot of energy going on, and then on that day, if I recall correctly, we have I think it's a total solar eclipse. I don't remember, but we're having an eclipse, and it's a lot of energy. There's a lot of changes coming our way, and I'm really excited. I just feel so at peace and so happy, and I'm really happy to be here. So this week we're going to be going over what you should be expecting for the upcoming week, starting July 1st, so the week of July 1st. This is going to apply to sun, moon, and rising. You can check your tropical, your sidereal, and even your progress chart if you would like, and you can find all of that on astro.com. If this resonates with you, please let me know in the comments down below, and like the video, share, subscribe, and I guess hit that bell notification if you want to. And if this does resonate with you and if you want further insight, you can book a personal reading with me at simplepluto.com. All of the information is there. And and make sure to read the description of all of the listings because that has most, if not all, of the information that you need to know. And if you want to find me on Instagram or Twitter, you can do so at simplepluto. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started for you, Aries. So what is in store for you guys? What is in store for Aries the week of July 1st? I hope it's July 1st. It has to be. Because today's the 28th? Today's the 28th. 29 is Saturday. 30 is Sunday. Okay. It should be. Alright, Aries, what's in store for you, Aries, the week of July 1st? What's in store for Aries, the week of July 1st? Okay, we got the Six of Swords reversed. That's our first card coming out. Alright. Ooh, okay. Okay, let's start with these four, and then we can pull more later. Oh, also, I might pull some oracles by the end of this, so just keep watching for that. Okay, so we have the Six of Swords reversed, which usually talks about a lack of transition or an unwillingness to transition into something new, or it can even be like a delay in travel. So some of you are... If some of you guys are trying to travel, I would say that there could be a little bit of difficulties or delay in that. For example, like a flight could be delayed or something, or maybe you have to push back the date that you want to leave or to do something like that, right? And it could be because of money issues. We do have the King of Pentacles reversed. It could be that someone is being a little bit too stingy with their money and kind of unwilling to be generous. You know, they're not really the most charitable person, and you know, this could be either you or someone else, but you know, take it as it resonates. But you know, if some of you are traveling, I do see a little bit of an issue or a little bit of a delay in that. If I'm going to be a little bit more general, and I guess not like a specific thing, I guess you could say, the Six of Swords reverse overall kind of just talks about how, you know, some of you might want to transition into a new phase of your life, or you're going through some sort of transition. But the thing with this is that there could be a lot of emotional baggage that you're still carrying, or just overall baggage in general that you're still carrying. And you know, while you know you're going through this phase of change and stuff, there's still that weight on your back. I keep imagining the Ten of Wands, and the Ten of Wands to me is a lot of weight being held, like, you know, being being held down by a lot of burdens and kind of feeling that the world is against you and feeling as though the weight of the world is on your shoulders. And so that's kind of what I think of when I'm looking at this Six of Swords reverse, is that there's still this extra baggage that you really need to let go of in this week so that you can prepare for this eclipse season, because I do see a massive transformation. I mean, we do see a shift, right? We do see a shift here with the Death card, okay? You could also be dealing with a Scorpio. But so there is that massive change, and I feel like for a lot of you, the baggage that you're clinging onto is related to the King of Pentacles reverse. So some of you could be taking on the role of the King of Pentacles reverse, someone who is really thinking in their own self-interest, and they're hoarding everything. This to me is someone who hoards a lot, someone who is just really unwilling to let go of all of their prized possessions. What I imagine with this is, you know, someone who, for some reason I'm thinking of someone who is like very unwilling to like throw away really old birthday cards and like really old rewards or awards and stuff, like in certificates. You know, they value that a lot, but it's just so old, like this stuff from like kindergarten per se, and they're just still clinging on to that. They're still holding on to that and saying, well, it's going to be important someday, you know, I still want it. And it's more so as a way to feed your ego rather than having any sort of actual like productive use to it. It could also just be that for some of you could just be really incredibly stingy or miserly when it comes to your money or other material things, and that could be what is holding you back. With this Six of Swords reversed, I kind of envision someone having a lot of bags of money or, you know, of coins, of gold, a lot of bags of gold, and they can't move because the boat can't move because the weight of the gold is just weighing the boat down, that it can't, like it literally can't move. It's just too much weight. This also reminds me of the movie The Third Frontier with like Ben Affleck. I think I mentioned this in last week's Taurus video. I was like talking about it, and basically there's this one scene in the movie where the guys are like on a helicopter and they're on like they're trying to take like hundreds of millions of dollars like over a mountain or something, and the helicopter can only take so much weight, especially at a certain altitude, and one of the guys is like, we can't take all of this money, like it's gonna weigh us down, like the helicopter's gonna crash, we're not gonna make it. And then one of the guys is like, no, we have to. And so that's kind of what I feel is going on with you guys, is that there's this really incredible stubbornness from you and a strong need to just keep everything and to kind of take as much as you can from your past and kind of just cling on to it. And I feel like right now really isn't the time for that, and you kind of have to just close that door. And I also have the Five of Pentacles reversed here. So this to me signifies that, you know, through this transition, through this, you know, time of change, the door, I think, for a new beginning is going to be open for you. Like, no matter what, it's going to be open for you, but it can only fit so many people. It can only fit so many things. You know, it's only like a one bedroom, like a 2-bedroom sort of house with not very much space. You know, it's a new space and it's wonderful, but you can't, you know, be the one to take up all of this space because of, honestly, kind of your selfishness and unwillingness to compromise and unwillingness to take what's actually valuable to you and take what's actually necessary and important to you. So I think that's just a really huge thing going on, is that, you know, the door is open for new beginnings, but there are absolutely certain things, there's baggage that you have to let go of, you know. There's just a lot of weight that you need to let go so that you can get through that mountain. And with the Five of Cups reversed, this is a time of healing. This is a time of, you know, really mending your wounds and really tending to them and taking care of them, and just, I think, even acknowledging a lot of the stuff that's going on here with the Six of Swords reversed. There's just a lot of acknowledgement as to, you know, I guess like your flaws, you know, I guess you could say, but it's more so just what I see from this is just like learning to value things that are not necessarily physical, learning to value things that have a lot more, I guess, spiritual or emotional value rather than physical or material value. Because at the end of the day, material things are temporary, and, you know, obviously, like, money is important and we need it to, like, survive in this world. You know, I mean, we live in a capitalistic society, at least, like, in the U.S. But, you know, learning to just, I think it's just a matter of learning not to place so much importance on it and just not clinging on to it. Because when you cling on to something so hard, eventually, one way or another, it's ripped out of your hands. There has to be like an easy flow. There can't be any sort of rigidity about that, okay? So there's that. And I also kind of feel like, you know, some of you could be actually welcomed into a new home or welcomed into a new, you know, phase of something with really like open arms. Like I'm seeing someone like really just welcoming this person and giving them a big hug. You know, this could be family, because I do have the Four of Wands here. So this is family or the home or celebration. So it could just be that, you know, people are welcoming you, but there's a little bit of a compromise that you do have to make. And I do think that once you learn to let go of the stuff is when you're able to kind of go through this healing process and start seeing things from a much brighter perspective. And you'll be able to let go of the baggage and finally just move forward. It could also be that there's a transformation in... Oh. I never noticed this in this card. Okay, so in the Death card, there's literally the Saturn symbol. I didn't even know that. I've never even seen that before. Maybe you guys are dealing with a Capricorn. But I also just think this can just talk about how, you know, there's discipline when it comes to death. Or not death, not like literal death, but like there's discipline when it comes to transformation. You have to be willing to go through the transformation, I think. And that's interesting. So maybe you're dealing with a Capricorn or someone who's like really Saturn heavy. That's really, really interesting. I've never noticed that. Okay, anyways. So yeah, there could be a transformation in the family or in the home. Again, it could be that some of you are moving. For some of you, I feel like really you literally could be moving to a new home, or you're going through the process of it and you're having a hard time kind of like letting go of the old home or letting go of like valuables. You know, like you're going through your things to see what you're taking to the new house, into the new space, and you're kind of like having a hard time letting go of like all of the stuff. I feel like for some of you, you know, you could be moving from a childhood home, or it could even be that some of you are going off to college, because I know that like that's kind of a thing right now. So some of you could be going off to college and there are a lot of things that you don't want to let go of, but you know that you have to leave behind because there's simply just not a lot of space, you know, in the dorm room or in the new apartment, right? But, you know, you're being welcomed into that new area and it's a very secure area. But there is, you know, that need to just let go. So there is a transformation in the home. That's interesting. But yeah, it's important not to be so rigid, because I do have the King of Swords reversed, and then I had to have the Eight of Cups reversed. So the King of Swords reversed to me, did I say King of Cups? I'm sorry, I meant the King of Swords. The King of Swords reversed. So this is someone who's incredibly rigid. I think this is definitely you, because you're coming off as like very, very stubborn and very rigid. And so this is just telling me that, you know, just be a little bit more free-flowing. Be a little bit more free-flowing. Stop trying to make things go your way. And you'll find that you'll suffer from a lot less conflict when you are just a little bit more receptive to the energy that is coming your way. Okay, Aries? So I'm going to go ahead and pull some oracle cards for you. I'm pulling from the Spirit Animal Oracle. Also, the deck that I'm using right now is the Spellcaster's Tarot, if you're interested. So, let's see. Alright, what messages does Aries need to hear this week? Ooh, look, when I split the deck, I got Butterfly Spirit. Transformation is beautiful. So yeah, I think a lot of you are really just going through that metamorphosis, going through that transformation, and kind of just going out of your cocoon, you know, spreading your wings and being independent. You know, it's time. I think that this message really resonates a lot for like people, for high schoolers going into college, because it is a very transformative time, and I know that some of us or some of you could be a little bit hesitant to go, and you're just, you know, nervous because it is a new space and a new environment. And if you're, you know, going to be dorming at the university, you're not really going to have your parents there. So it is a little bit nerve-wracking. I understand that. Alright, let's see. What messages do we have for Aries? What messages do we have for Aries this week, July 1st? What messages does Aries need to hear for the week of July 1st? Jeez. I see. Yeah. Oh, I got 3 cards. Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to do this one because this is the first one that popped out. This is Pig Spirit, use your mind wisely. So I really feel that this resonates a lot with what I was saying about how, I mean, well, it's more so than just choosing wisely as to what you want to leave and what you want to, you know, keep. With this here, I really feel like you have to be very, I think, cognizant, I guess you could say, of, you know, the changes that are going on, and, you know, make conscious decisions as to what you want to leave behind, whether it's like childhood, you know, awards or certificates or certain, you know, articles of clothing, shoes, you know, stuff like that. And I feel like you have to just be very conscious and aware of things that you are actually going to use, of stuff that you're not going to use, of things that maybe you can leave behind for now and, you know, get it later, and kind of just make those adjustments. And I think this also talks about, like, making conscious decisions and not being so incredibly impulsive, you know, thinking things through, you know, make some sort of plan and just kind of compartmentalize everything so that everything is just, like, organized. I feel like you need to organize your mind. I feel like this week is really a time to be organizing your mind and, like, organizing your mental space so that can be reflected into your physical space. Okay? And then we have, I'll do this one. We have Dragonfly Spirit, Truth Transcends Illusion. So this to me just signifies no matter what you kind of convince yourself of, you know, especially because we're saying, like, use your mind wisely, you know, be careful of what you convince yourself of, and be careful of kind of creating a false perception of something, or kind of creating a very extreme perception of something, or something that is incredibly black and white in terms of your perception, and kind of work on trying to see clearly the situation for what it is, rather than, like, kind of being caught up in your feelings about it. Kind of, like, set aside your ego. I feel like I said, it's a time to set aside your ego and look at things from an objective manner. And then we have Lay a Solid Foundation, which Beaver Spirit. Lay a solid foundation is, like, obviously, you know, you're going into a new phase of your life, right? We have death here. So this is a massive transformation for a lot of you. Some of you could actually be going through tower moments where everything is kind of just, like, falling apart. But it's for the best. And, you know, with that being said, this is an opportunity for you to just create a new life for yourself, to create something that is a lot more fulfilling. I mean, for those of you that are going off to college, this is a time to really test out adulthood and to really test out who you are as an individual, and to lay a foundation of your own and to do it your way, and to see what fits, to see what doesn't fit. You know, it's a trial and error sort of thing. And I feel like when you are very conscious and aware and using your mind and being really objective and kind of present in the moment, and, you know, kind of always catching yourself and checking yourself whenever you kind of veer off the path. I feel like you would be able to lay a very solid foundation for yourself and build something very fruitful, honestly. And then we have Squirrel Spirit. Believe in yourself. So some of you, of course you could be doubting, have that baggage going on here. And, you're feeling a little bit discouraged and you're a little bit nervous to go into this new phase of life, which is completely understandable, but you do have to believe yourself, keep a positive mindset and everything will be fine. And I really do believe in you. As long as you believe that you can set this foundation, I feel like everything will be fine. Like here, use your mind wisely. Like the way that you perceive things and the way that you approach things in terms of like the way that you look at them and stuff is really going to determine how your week kind of goes. If you're someone who is kind of setting the kind of setting the intention that the week is just going to be trash for you and that you're not going to have a good time and that everything is going to be hard for you, then that is kind of going to be a little bit, that is going to be a little bit difficult for you. Like the week is going to be a little bit difficult for you because if you're kind of taking on a pessimistic mindset all of the time and not putting in as much effort, and I'm not trying to say this like in a way where it's like I'm not trying to blame you or anything like that. And, obviously it's a lot easier said than done. Absolutely, it's easier said than done to have a positive mindset all of the time. But I think, trying to keep on that sort of hope and just believing that you will be able to get through all of this and believing that there is a brighter side to all of it will help you in the long run. You know what I mean? So there you go, Aries. I really hope you enjoyed this reading, this weekly reading. Please let me know if it resonates in the comments down below. Like the video, share, subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye.